If you're considering a renovation project, there's one question that comes to mind. Are you going to stay in the house or are you going to leave? If the renovation is small enough, you may consider staying just because it's inconvenient to have to displace yourself just because you're going to paint a few walls or maybe change a few tiles in one bathroom or just do an overall one bathroom renovation. But if your plan is to restore the entire house and you're moving walls or even putting an addition on the house, you may want to consider relocating temporarily while the renovation is happening. I'm currently undergoing a renovation for my house and it's been a year and a half now, and we decided to stay in the house just because we put an addition on the back of the house. We didn't think it would be too much of an inconvenience, but we found out quickly that it really was. We had to set up temporary walls. There's dust constantly everywhere. We have to constantly clean. There's workers coming in and out of the house all the time, early mornings, late nights. It's just a little bit inconvenient to stay in the house while this major renovation is taking place. And if you're thinking about starting a renovation project, you may want to consider your options if it's better to leave the house or to stay in the house. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Here are some of the things to consider if you're thinking about staying in the house during a renovation. And again, it depends on the size of the renovation. If you're just going to redo one room, for instance, a bathroom or another bedroom or something like that, it's simple and you're going to do a little bit of trim work, some flooring, maybe some painting, and it's not a big deal, then I would suggest to stay in the house. But if you're going to completely overhaul certain rooms of the house, one of the biggest things that we're going through for the renovation is that there are workers constantly coming in and out of the house all day long. Now, if you work from home, that's a big issue for you because you basically have no privacy. But if you don't work from home, then maybe it's not that inconvenient, but you have to worry about other factors, especially in the morning when you're trying to get ready for work. If you have kids or pets, it's a big inconvenience because you'll have workers show up very early in the morning, let's say 7 o'clock, 7:30, and then they'll leave late at night, 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, maybe during dinner time. So you have to kind of get ready a little bit earlier than normal just to make sure that these workers aren't walking in on you getting ready in the morning. Then if the workers want to continue their work on the weekend, it may be inconvenient if you have a birthday party or some other event that you're hosting and you really don't want them around, but they have to finish their work. So there's a kind of a balance there. You want them to hurry up and finish, but you don't want them to work on the weekend. Just kind of a back and forth on that end. With all the people coming in and out of the house, you don't know half of these people. You may know the owner of the company, but you may not know the people that work for that person. And if you're allowing other people to come into your house, there may be a privacy concern for you because you have to worry about the possibility of them going through your things. And you don't know these people sometimes. And you really want to make sure that you understand who is coming in and out of your house. So it is a privacy concern in some respect. If something ends up going missing, you may blame the wrong person or the right person, but they're not going to admit it. So you really have to watch out for your things and if you're fine with them walking around every room of your house. So this is a real invasion of your personal space, and you may have to deal with that for a very long time depending on the size of your renovation. The next thing is that there's constant reorganization of your personal belongings. You may have to move certain rooms around numerous times as we have. We were really inconvenienced with certain rooms being done at different times, and we had to move all our furniture and other belongings from one room to the next and then back again once that room was completed. It's just very inconvenient to keep moving things around constantly because things get damaged, things go missing, and you really don't want to have that happen. So it's really an inconvenience with that respect because you're constantly taking things out and putting things back. The next thing is extended timelines. Renovations never go as smoothly as you think they're gonna go. They take much longer than you estimate. It just happens that way. It's just a fact. For some reason, they take longer. There's a rare occasion where things will go smoothly and the project will be completed earlier, but in my experience, things take longer than normal. So you really have to plan for that. Plan to be disrupted for a longer period of time than you originally estimated. The next thing is that there's constant dust and debris everywhere. Every single night, we have to clean every room. We vacuum, we mop, we dust. Just there's dust and debris everywhere all the time. Some workers are good and they'll put all their garbage in a certain spot or they'll throw it out, which is the right thing to do. But many of them don't. No matter how many times you tell them, there's always something left over. There's a coffee cup, there's some wrappers, just a bunch of things everywhere. And you really have to make sure that you have garbage bins allocated to certain areas so that they can throw their things out that they don't need. And you could just make sure that that is taken care of on a daily basis. They're thrown out. Any garbage bags, anything that's left over is thrown out on a daily basis. Then once everyone's left for the day, you're going to notice that there's dust there. Even if a cleaning was done during the day, there's going to be some dust left over. We're constantly vacuuming, as I mentioned, and it just never stops. We have to change furnace filters constantly as well, and you really have to make sure that everything is clean, especially if you have some health problems and you're not used to all the dust. Dust has a negative effect on a lot of people. For instance, for myself, for some reason, it makes me itchy. So I have to constantly clean my hands and arms and things like that at the end of the day because the dust is really affecting my skin. And a lot of people have breathing issues or respiratory issues that dust is going to really play a negative impact on them. So you really want to mitigate the amount of dust and debris left over at the end of each day. Now, the next thing is kids and pets. So if you have either one of these, you're going to find that it's very challenging to deal with them on a daily basis as well. You're going to uproot them. You're going to have to change your routines. And I find that, especially with pets, that any workers come in and out of the house, they are constantly barking and aggravating everyone, not only the owners, but also the tradespeople. And you really want to make sure that they're put in a certain room or even sent to a kennel throughout the day. Because if they're left at home all day, you'll find that they're going to be constantly barking. And we've had situations where some of the tradespeople have complained they're afraid of dogs or cats or whatever it is, and they just can't function throughout the day. It's something you really want to consider if you're going to leave your pets at home. For kids, they're going to be uprooted as well because they have certain routines in the morning to get them ready for school. You want to get them out of the house as quickly as possible. Then at night, they have certain things that they do. You want to make sure that they're comfortable with all the work that's happening around them. You may also have to explain the process to them to ensure that they know what's going on and the time frames that are going to happen and that everything's going to be okay. Because I find that they get stressed out a lot quicker and frustrated a lot quicker than we do. You want to be able to ease that stressful situation for them. Now, if you are going to do a major renovation, you may want to consider leaving or temporarily relocating so that the house is free for the tradespeople to work and you don't have to worry about living through the mess. What you have to consider in this case are a few things. Number one is financial capability or implications. If you're going to move somewhere else, if it's with family or friends and they are letting you stay at their house free of charge, that's great. But if you're going to be moving to a rental property, you have to make sure that your finances are in order. How long are you going to be there? How much is the rent? How much are the expenses? And you have to really make sure that you're also carrying your house, whether you have a mortgage or not. You're going to be carrying your house and also a rental property and also all the expenses for the renovation. So you want to make sure that your finances are in order so that you could cope with all the financial burden along the way. You may also have to move things to this rental property or that other location with friends or family. You also have to figure out how many things you're going to move. Are you going to move certain beds? Are you going to move dressers? Are you going to move storage bins? What are the things you're going to move out and for how long? So this may be a big inconvenience for you. If you end up staying there for a long time, you're going to have to move things constantly back and forth. Or if you forgot something in one location, you're going to have to go get it and then bring it to the new location. And it's just a little bit inconvenient. But if that's what you have to do and you're doing a major renovation for your house and you just can't live in the house, then it is what it is. You're going to have to do it. Once your renovation is finally completed, you're going to now have to bring everything back to where it was. You're going to have to hire the movers again. You're going to have to pack everything up again, and you're going to have to move everything back to this original location. So this is a big inconvenience as well because you may forget something, you may lose something, things may get damaged along the way, but it is what it is. If you have to do that and you have no choice, you have to get it done. If you are staying with friends and family, you want to make sure that you're not there for an extended period of time because a lot of times it may have a negative impact on your relationship with them. Sometimes when you're in somebody's personal space, they end up having to change their routines for a long period of time, and there's just some frustrations and anxiety they may develop there, and it's something to really consider. So if you are going to stay with friends or family, make sure that you all understand how long you're going to be there and the impact that it's going to have on everyone. Deciding whether to stay or leave during the renovation is a big decision. Depending on the scale of your renovation, you may be able to stay in the home during that process, but if it's going to be a large renovation, it may be beneficial for you to relocate temporarily while the renovation is being completed. And then once it's done, you're just going to have to move back. We reviewed some of the positive and negatives about staying or relocating. And I hope that helped you a little bit. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I'd love to hear if you've been through a renovation project recently and if you've relocated or if you decided to stay in the house during the renovation. What impact did that have on your daily life? What are some of the things you did if you relocated or you stayed in the home to ease the process of your renovation project? I'd love to hear it. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. There'll be more videos like this talking about renovations, do it yourself, just the whole general process of construction, building, and everything that goes along with it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.